Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Hendu Show. We're so excited that you're here today. So what do you say we see what's in the news today?
Optimism took a 41-point jump. 41 points. It went up 41 points. That's unheard of.
Yeah, optimism jumped 41 points. I wonder if that was from Biden going to the beach or Kamala Harris getting drunk.
And that's the biggest, they think, in recorded history, but they know at least a minimum of 39 years, so that's great. But with our country and what's happening with the world, there's a whole light over the entire world. Many people, some reporters, and speaking to them, they said, you know, it actually is true. A couple of them are not necessarily friends of mine, but they said it is actually.
I think what's going to happen after the first is you're going to have to hold on to your seat because the economy is going to take off like a rocket. Businesses are going to really expand.
True that.
You know, one thing about Trump, the Democrats believe in overtaxing companies, burying them in regulations. They do everything in the world to stifle business, and then they turn around and say, well, why don't you give people better raises or better opportunities and this and that? Well, you can't because you're killing them. You know, the best way for the businesses is to get out of their way.
There's a light shining over the world. We're trying to help very strongly in getting the hostages back, as you know, with Israel and the Middle East. We're working very much on that. We're trying to get the war stopped, that horrible war that's going on in Ukraine, with Russia, Ukraine. We're going to, we've got a little rest. It's a tough one. It's a nasty one. It's nasty. People are being killed at levels that nobody's ever seen. You know, it's very level fields, and the only thing that stops a bullet is a body, a human body. And the number of soldiers that are being killed on both sides is astronomical. I've never seen anything like that. And rapidly, I get reports every week, and it's not even, you know, it's like just they're going down. Nobody's seen anything like it. It's a very flat surface, a very flat land. That's why it's great farming land. It's the breadbasket for the world, actually. But it's very flat, and there's nothing to stop a bullet but a body. There's no protection, no nothing, and what's happening there is far worse than people are reporting for both sides. So we're going to do our best, and we've been doing our best, and we'll see what happens. But since the election, I've been working every day to put the world at ease a little bit, to get rid of the wars. We had no wars when I left office, and now it's the whole world is blowing up. But there's great optimism, and you saw that by SoftBank. Starting on day one, we'll implement a rapid series of bold reforms to restore our nation to full prosperity. We're going to go full prosperity and to build the
full prosperity. Yep. One thing about Trump, you might not like what he says, you might not agree with him, but whatever he says, he's going to do.
The greatest economy the world has ever seen, just as we had just a short time ago. We had it in my term. We had the greatest economy that the world had seen. We were blowing away everybody. Our country was doubling up on China, doubling up on everybody, and everybody knows it. And then we had to slow it down with COVID, unfortunately, at the end. But even then, I gave it back with a substantial increase of the stock market, bigger than it was pre-COVID, so it was pretty amazing. Already preparations are underway to slash massive numbers of job-killing regulations.
I love it when Trump talks to reporters because he just kicks their butt.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to comment on the Putin question, but I will comment on Bibi. We had a very good talk. We discussed what is going to happen, and I'll be very available on January 20th. All hell's going to break out, and very strong. But we generally just discussed, I asked him, where are things? Mike Waltz they're doing a great job, by the way. Everybody is very happy. I think he's doing a fantastic job. But he was very much involved in the call. But it was a recap call more than anything else.
President Trump, are you in Oregon to stop the ban on TikTok next month?
Who?
How do you plan to stop the ban on TikTok next month?
We'll take a look at TikTok. You know, I have a warm spot in my heart for TikTok because I won youth by 34 points. And there are those.
Boy, they don't want to hear that. Oh, you have a warm spot in your heart for TikTok. You know that just melts that journalist.
Those that say that TikTok had something to do with that. Now, Joe Rogan did, and some of the other people that were recommended by my son Barron, he knew names. I said, who is that? Tell me, who's that? Dad, you gotta be kidding. I can't believe you don't know. And I did those interviews, and it was actually sort of cute. Do you want to know the truth? But we did them, and that had an impact. But TikTok had an impact, and so we're taking a look at it. But, you know, we won youth. Republicans are always 30 points down in youth. I don't know why, but we ended up finishing. There was one poll that showed us down about.
You know, the Republicans won a youth, and it's mainly because Kamala Harris she would do stupid things like not go on Joe Rogan. And it was like she was afraid to do anything where someone was going to ask her an actual question. If it was somebody from her side, oh, it was great. Ask away, because they were always stupid, set-up questions. You know, she knew the answer before they even asked the question. But for just someone just to ask a question, oh, they didn't want that.
About 30, we were 35 or 36 points up with young people. So I have a little bit of a warm spot in my heart, I'll be honest. Yes,
President.
Are you entertaining the idea of preemptive strikes against Iran's nuclear facilities?
Against who?
Against Iran's nuclear
Well, I
facilities?
can't tell you that.
Would you?
I mean, it's a wonderful question, but am I going to do preemptive strikes? Why would I say that? Can you imagine if I said yes or no? You'd say.
That's Trump's way of saying, are you stupid?
That was strange that he answered that way. Am I going to do preemptive strikes on Iran? Is that a serious question? How could I answer a question like that?
That reporter was getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And then he was finally hiding behind his folded papers.
Say it.
Would you be in support of Israeli strikes on Iran's nuclear
How could I
facilities?
tell you a thing like that now? It's just so you don't talk about that before something may or may not happen. You know, just I don't want to insult you. I just think it's just not something that I would ever answer, having to do with there or any other place in the world.
President Trump.
President Trump. Time magazine interview. Can I ask, just clearly, do you believe there's a connection between vaccines and autism? Do you believe there's a link?
Well, I don't look. Right now, you have some very brilliant people looking at it. I had dinner the other night with the head of Pfizer, the head of Eli Lilly, and RFK, as you know, and Oz. And we had, and other people within the administration that are involved, in the medical. And
Those poor reporters are doing everything in the world to try and set Trump up, and they just can't get him.
we're looking to find out. You know, if you look at autism, so 30 years ago I've heard numbers of like 1 in 200,000, 1 in 100,000. And now I'm hearing numbers of 1 in 100. So something's wrong. There's something wrong. And we're going to find out about it.
What about the president?
Can I follow?
And the mob goes wild.
Can I follow up on Robert Kennedy? He's on the Hill today. He's meeting with senators. What do you say to people who are worried that his views on vaccines will translate into policies that will make their kids less safe?
No, I think he's going to be much less radical than you would think. I think he's got a very open mind, or I wouldn't have put him there. He's going to be very much less radical. But there are problems. I mean, we don't do as well as a lot of other nations, and those nations use nothing. And we're going to find out what those problems are. And another thing that came up, the dinner was fascinating because I had Bobby and I had, again, the head of Pfizer. You know who that is. He's a highly respected man who has run an incredible company. Likewise with Lilly, the top two people. And we had the head of the industry also. So all companies were represented. And I said, let's have it out now a little bit. And you know what came out of that meeting is that we're paying far too much because we're paying much more than other countries. And we have laws that make it impossible to reduce. And we have a thing called the middleman. You know the middleman, right? The horrible middleman, frankly, than the drug companies, and they don't do anything except they're a middleman. We're going to knock out the middleman. I'm going to be very unpopular after that.
Trump's going to knock out the middleman. You got to love him. He's saying, screw those guys. I'm going around them and taking the profits back to the American people.
Mr.
President, Mr. President.
I don't know who these middlemen are, but they are rich as hell. And we're going to knock out the middlemen. We're going to get drug costs down at levels that nobody has ever seen before. And that really, I tell you, we spent.
I wonder how that dinner with Lilly and Pfizer, I wonder how that went. I bet those guys were sweating in their pants.
More time talking about that with Bobby and with the executives and Oz, all of them. We spent more time talking about that than anything else.
Thanks, President Trump. What about the polio vaccine?
Well, I'm a big believer in it, and I think everything should be looked at, but I'm a big believer in the
Is it Palk?
polio vaccine,
Do you
the
think-
Salk vaccine.
Salk.
Do you think schools should mandate vaccines? Do you think schools should mandate vaccines?
I don't like mandate.
What in the hell does schools know about vaccines? Why should they mandate anything? They should get out of the way. Let the medical society do that.
I'm not a big mandate person, so, you know, I was against mandates. Mostly Democrat governors did the mandates, and they did a very poor thing. It was, you know, in retrospect, they made a big mistake having to do with the education of children. You know, they lost like a year or 2 years of their lives. The mandate was a bad thing. I was against the mandate.
So is that something you'd want to?
Yes, please.
Do you expect Ron DeSantis to appoint Laura Trump to Senator Marco Rubio's seat?
No, I don't. I probably don't, but I don't know. Ron's doing a good job. Choice, nothing to do with me. Laura's unbelievable. I mean, she was incredible. The job she did at the RNC as chairman, along with Michael.
Okay, guys, thanks for showing up. It's appreciated. We'll see you on the next one. And please remember to hit subscribe. And if you agree with me, great, put it in the comments. And if you disagree with me, great, put it in the comments. All your views are appreciated. See ya.